I got you here on time. I got the best. I'm good. I'm not even worried about it.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. So, but I need to understand. So you never did J school.
I never did J school.
So were you on the radio? Is that what? Why do I think you were in J school? Oh, because you told me you were on the radio.
I was on the radio.
Okay.
Yep. So I did 90.5 for the Saturday morning show.
Gotcha.
For 5 years.
So
Every
the whole time you was
Saturday.
that fan? Saturday mornings? That's crazy. So you would be doing that show hungover. Crazy.
you.
Diabolical.
9 to 1. And if you know anything, with Donovan Long.
Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of Just Quit. I'm your host, Darius Ricks. If you forgot, this is that podcast that put that battery in your back to quit that day job. We're all team fuck that job over here. Today, we're with our guest, Miss Taylor Harris, aqua therapist. Is that what we're going with?
Aquatherapist, yes.
We're trying out different things with branding, so we're aqua therapists today.
Yes, aquatherapist. But in regular, I'm an occupational therapist and swim instructor.
Got you. Okay. Thank you for welcoming us to your space. As you can see and hear, we're a little bit somewhere different today. We out in the backwoods of Atlanta in an undisclosed location where Taylor calls home in the water. So yeah, let's just really jump into it. Like we were talking before, and I was telling you a little bit about my journey just to come back to it. So went to FAM, class of 2010, graduated 2014.
Okay. Went
straight from Tallahassee to New York. Well, made a pit stop in Miami for 6 months. Then went to New York. Was there for 5 years. My wife came up there. My oldest, she grew up there for a little while. And then I quit JP 2019 to start at the last job I had. It was a startup consulting firm.
Okay.
I did that for 5 years, but in the middle, COVID hit, and we used that as an excuse to move back to the crib because my wife's from Miami too.
Okay.
And we both were working remote, so it made it easier to do that. So been in Miami since 2020, and like you were mentioning, like, oh yeah, you spent some time at your parents' crib. Like we did that as well.
Yeah.
So we spent 11 good months at my mother-in-law's crib.
Oh.
And I paid off my student debt.
Okay.
Stacked a significant amount of change that helped me, that literally was the springboard to like do everything I'm doing now. And then it gave me time to really just sit down and like lock in and think. Cause like I already
are you still working?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was building, everything I'm doing now, I started building in 2019. Like I started aggressively paying off credit card debt and like,
oh my gosh.
Oh, you okay?
And then just flip your microphone in so it's like aiming towards, there we go. Yeah.
So I started aggressively paying off debt like probably like 2018. Then when I left in 2019, I started investing heavy, like heavy investing. And then when I started a new job, like I was just slowly picking up side hustles. Like I started doing Turo. Then I got my first rental property. Then I got my second rental property. Then I started to realize like, oh shit, like so my last job I was a consultant. So I was like, oh, this consultant thing, I kind of fuck with this. Like management consulting, like I realized like management is my superpower. I didn't realize like everybody can't do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I might be able to work with this. So I started playing with that idea, but then I also started doing like hard money lending, like making loans to people and shit, because I had a lot of extra cash from sitting at home and not paying rent for 11 months.
Right.
So like I was doing everything that like slowly helped me naturally like, okay, I'm gonna wean myself off of my job. Well, no, actually no, I lied. Originally the plan was I'm gonna keep doing the other side hustles, build them up. I'm gonna keep the job, because at the time it was vibing. I work from home. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I work from home. Job's not too demanding. I was getting very, very good money.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm gonna just do all of them at the same time. But then I learned a lot of different things, but long story short, the startup got corporate. They gave me a little bit more money,
Okay.
asked for a lot more of my time.
Right.
And then that's what led me to 2024. Like, I had to make a decision. I didn't like the culture of the company anymore. And I had a realization, like, yo, like, I had to have a conversation with myself, like, am I scared to slide? Am I not confident in myself? Like, am I just here for a check? If I'm just here for a check, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I cut my own checks already. I just got to make them bigger. So that's why I made the jump.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and then it's just been
I'm sure.
free falling
Upward.
ever since.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've had some good upward trajectory, though. I mean,
Yeah.
as always, it's gonna come with that.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of that. So I'll start, right? So it's like, for you coming into what you're doing now, like, how did you even find this space? Like, to go from on land occupational therapist to aqua therapy. Like, how did you get there?
So, my first job growing up, and really only other job other than being an occupational therapist, is being a lifeguard. And that's something I still am now. And so when I was 16, I wanted to become a lifeguard. We swam as a family a lot, but it was always just leisure.
Gotcha.
My brother did swim team. I really didn't feel that confident to do swim team, but I still knew I liked to swim, and I felt like that was where some of my power was, on just like looking one way on land, but having different abilities in water. And so it was like, ooh, okay, I like this. It's kind of like a superpower. Like, if I can learn how to like learn my body in here, like, I can give a surprise effect to people, and I love that. Like, I like people pegging you one way and then you flipping the switch.
So you petty.
And I guess so. But in a way that's like confident and just thorough. Yeah, like, I like to, let's just do that. So my brother, he never was on the swim team in high school. He never was a lifeguard. And so I feel like as a younger sibling, that was always a rivalry. I wanted to do things that were
Wanted to
definitely
one-up him.
not like him. Yeah, like, as best as I could. We had the same initials, the same, it was just like, I want to make sure.
You left your mark.
Yeah, and we were different. And so becoming a lifeguard was a huge thing. I was the only girl in my class. It's like 12 men. And once I became a lifeguard, I knew, like, that was a perfect mesh of how much I cared about people, but also still love the water. Like, at root of it, I'm very much so,
Gotcha.
let's play.
So fast forward a little bit, right? You made the decision. You left that job. We're here where we are today, right? And your title, aqua therapist, mixing the water with the healing of the people, right? So when it comes to people in our community, and let's not sugarcoat it, Black people, getting access to water is hard enough. And then when you finally do get access, since you don't have it, normally most of us don't know how to swim, or a good majority of us don't know how to swim. Like, how do you, like, you're 35 POV, 35, never learned how to swim. How do they find that confidence to even approach you, or how do you find them to even get them confident enough to get in the water?
So I think ultimately I grow a niche of one-off people that are very afraid, very fearful, maybe neurodivergent, maybe with some other type of disability. Like, a lot, because I'm an occupational therapist, and so I have a background in psychology, I have a background in just foundations of the body, and so as you merge that with water has its own natural healing properties. So I think, the expertise begins to speak for itself, and then I think naturally Black women are some of the most nurturing, if not the most nurturing species out. So I feel like, in ways, my tone and the way I carry myself and the way that the business begins to kind of move, the brand moves, it speaks to a very nurturing environment that feels like a beginner or someone who's very afraid or someone who's different could feel at home with me.
So when it comes to that fear, right? When somebody's like quitting that fear to really start working with you, what do you think, like, they're really quitting? Like, what do you think is it that's holding them back, that mostly everybody has to get over to start working with you and getting better?
I say a lot of times we need a lot of reassurance in things. And I think ultimately water is a trusting activity that we don't, it's a large concept. I don't think in life black people get to trust things as much as you're supposed to trust the water. I don't think we have anything that we can just rely on outside of the like scientific property of understanding gravity. And that's really what I try to best relate how you should think of water, because I think we need to do something to be a swimmer or be buoyant or be something in the water, and naturally we just need to learn the properties of water. We don't fear if we jump on land that we might fly away. We understand gravity, we got it down pat, we get it. And so it's like if we would just expose ourselves more to what buoyancy is, what the science properties are of water, we get that trust a little bit more and understand, it's a lot more of less of you, more of really experiencing a creation that God gave us. And so that's really my whole, I guess, excitement is that, I really don't want to fear monger us into wanting to learn or wanting to understand water more. It's just more to enjoy and learn from a safe place and like an engaging place that feels like, this is what God gave us to heal and, just do other things.
So when it comes to getting people to understand that and breaking that down, like, do you have a favorite success story of you bringing somebody to the water and, oh, they realize like, oh, this isn't here to hurt me, it's here to help me, or if I embrace this, I'm going to be the person I want to be? Like, do you have a favorite story that sticks out to you?
I have a very severely autistic kid. He's been coming to me since he was about 3. First started coming to me because he was an eloper. And so he used to run away from his parents and
Word. Okay.
was nonverbal. And so he ran away, and the number one cause of death for autistic children is drowning because they like the pressure of what the water brings to them. And so he ran away, was found or was running in the pool. His mom had to jump in, save him. She couldn't swim. So luckily saved him, but she needed saving. So it was a very traumatic situation for the entire family. And so, obviously that brought her to leave him into, swim. And at that time, he was very sensory averse, nonverbal, could barely sit in the pool, without needing anything. And, now here we are 4 summers later. He's successfully swimming with his face in and 10 feet jumping in. He speaks to me, has minimally verbal skills, but I feel actively confident that, like, we saved his life.
Shout out to that fish.
Yeah.
So, piggybacking off of that, true or false? Some people are just not built to swim.
False.
Okay. So,
Instantly.
You said what?
Instantly. I hate when I hear that. I hate that, and I hate hearing, oh, I can swim, but when the ground not under my feet, I can't. Oh, God, I cannot stand that. I really cannot. That one kills me.
Okay, so why is just jump in some of the worst advice you can give somebody that's trying to learn how to swim?
Because I think it's just, you have to think of it, you're like a baby brain. So you're trying to coach your brain to want to do something again. Mm-hmm. Most of our brain needs to have some type of data underneath it that makes it feel confident or safe to do whatever we're about to do. Airway is the most important thing that our brain is ever going to focus on. So if you don't give it anything that feels successful on how it's going to maintain its airway, it's not going to, you're instantly into a fight or flight situation. So you're constantly learning fight or flight response to swim. So therefore, when you go anywhere, somebody push you, the reaction is never to be, oh yeah, I remember, with them lessons and all that $1,000 paid for. It's never gonna come there because the way you enter and the way your brain understands and knows water is off of a very like instinctual and fight or flight, adrenaline based type thing. Right. And that's what we have to get away from, because if it's always adrenaline based, you're never gonna just be able to pull from it.
All right, true or false then? Do you have to get rid of the fear before you can learn the skill? Or do you get rid of the fear as you learn? Like,
yeah, it's a little bit of a combination, but I will say you definitely have to do the work outside, because swimming takes, about 40 to 50 hours of pool time to really become proficient. So over a summer, if you come into somebody 30 minutes a week, 1 hour a week, that's 6, 7 hours a summer, and you think you're supposed to swim. And you do it over and over again, giving your body a chance to learn new things on top of that muscle memory, you know. So really, I think our culture has a misunderstanding of what swim is like. You know, we kind of gotta, just like anything else, we train or we, you know, do a nail procedure or a hair procedure. You know, we'll grind for it for 6 months. Same type mentality for swim. Like you kind of gotta grind for it for a little bit.
Okay, so when it comes to the small wins along the way, right? For you as a coach, what feels better to you? When your client first steps in and fights the fear for the first time, or when they complete their first lap?
Yeah, so many more smaller ones in between that. I mean,
So, okay, so what's your favorite win, like for your clients?
I would say probably a float.
Why?
There's no skill in floating. Your body is naturally buoyant, and that's what the water is always pushing us up. So there's no skill to floating. It's all about relaxation and about trusting. So once you really get to that place and you're able to really just kind of, you know, I catch you just going into your float on your own, that's a really sweet moment because it's like you're getting somewhere. That means you're safe to feel like you can engage with this on your own, and that's a good feeling.
Okay, so bringing it back to you. You're an occupational therapist and swim coach.
Yes.
So what about you as an occupational therapist gives you a leg up on the ops?
That's really what's crazy. For so long, I thought that they were just gonna compete. Because lifeguarding and swim instruction was my first love. I went and did all this schooling for OT. I'm like, I gotta be able to merge. I worked in acute care. I worked in the hospital system 4 or 5 years, all through COVID. So, you know, I was just like, how do I maintain this softness, this nurture that still, you know, from the water, but still cares about people and the body. And I think that's really what makes it different. I have a strong scientific and anatomical background of just foundations on the body systems, how they work together, the benefits of things. And that's truly just kind of my, like, nerd out. That's where I get excited. That's how I like to explain. That's how I like to educate. And I feel like with anything, Black people are capable beyond measure. So the more that we meet and educate and find what makes sense to us, the more we're able to translate and tell the skills. And that's when you're telling your homegirl and I catch you teaching somebody and you telling them what I said, it's like, okay, that matters. You know what I mean? When you really doing something.
Gotcha. So taking it back to the skill of not having skill and being able to float, right? What do you think your clients get the most out of that? Or like, what do you get out of just floating? Like when it comes to understanding, having that self-control?
It's actually the total opposite of is no self-control. You're being free. That's what I get from it. That's one of my favorite like exchanges of water is that I get to take my burdens and literally lay it down. And I think that's what's the hardest concept, especially for Black women, and why I enjoy so much when I get my Black women. Often when I get them on their back, I'm massaging shoulders and neck and moving things because I just know what it feels like to carry so much all throughout the day, and then you really get here and, you know, it's like this isn't what he meant for this to be. It wasn't for us to be scared and another place for us to feel pressured. This is for us to really feel so safe, so welcome, so accepted, so free, you know. So when they begin to trust that and trust me, like that feels like doing surgery in a hospital. That's very, very sacred and very important. Like that's huge.
All right, so I pull up. This might be class 3 or 4. In my mind, I want to swim. In my mind, I'm Michael Phelps. I'm in that water already. But for some reason, I get to the edge of that pool, I'm frozen. I'm stuck. Like I haven't moved for 3 whole minutes. How you get me in the water?
Oh, I'm easy. I'm like, what's going on? I'll most times sense my clients before we even get here if it's something that I feel I'm like, we build in a little time anyway. Sometimes we're doing deep breathing before we get in. Sometimes we might need to let a cry out before we get in. It's a lot of emotional, vulnerable exchange because the thing is the water is constantly moving. We don't really have that much sensory input to our bodies ever. Where you're submerged, you're feeling pressure, you're feeling things flowing on you, you're feeling coolness, you're feeling temperature changes, you can feel stuff going between your toes. It feels good, and it feels like a lot, and it's a lot of input because our feet are one of our biggest sensories. So sometimes when you get in here, all of what you hold, and all of what you was traffic, all of what you was thinking, it comes, and for me, I'm like, right, it looks like you choking, It looks like you sucking up water. It looks like you know, sinking instantly in the water. And it's kind of like, hey, what's going on, right? I feel that frustration coming. And I'm like, you don't want to be frustrated here because then you really feel irritated that you wasted your whole time. So it's like, we can regather this in about 10 minutes, right? Because a lot of times, if it's some tears, let's go ahead and do that. You know, if it's a hug, I find myself, it's a lot more touch. It's a lot more sensory than I think a lot of adults and a lot of people engage with. And I think I have to acknowledge that. Because as a healer, it takes a toll after a while. Because you're constantly feeling people's exchange.
So then,
And fear is a lot to feel for people all the time.
so then for the people that's out there watching, right? It sounds like this aquatic therapy is something that a lot of people need. How do these people understand this might be something that they need to do?
I think that if you have a gut feeling of, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to swim, I've always wanted to learn, I've always wanted to just change my relationship with water, I don't want to be this afraid of water anymore, then it's like, absolutely. That's the best of a call you're going to get, you know what I mean? And, you know, you found someone that's super patient. There's nothing that I've seen people that, as soon as you put the goggles on, it's like hyperventilating, chest, you know, out of their face. You know, so there's nothing I don't see. And I feel like as an occupational therapist, my background is just to constantly find ways to reach you versus feeling like you're unreachable. I think that's my biggest thing, is making sure people feel like we will teach you. Like,
Okay.
That's what will happen here.
So talking on relatability, right? Let's bring it back to our culture. For a lot of us, a lot of women, black women, not getting in that water, you've been told, don't get your hair wet, or I'ma get up on you, right?
For sure.
So it's like, can you help the people understand that it's okay to have that objection to swimming, like your hair being a hurdle, and how did they get over that, I guess?
For sure. Actually, this summer did like top 5 hairstyles I feel like are the most appropriate for your summer months, because it is such a barrier. My clientele is 95% black women. And in truth, it's kind of tired. You know what I mean? It's really a tired excuse. And so I'm a little firm on that. I'm just like, figure out something to do with your hair. It's 3 months. There's a lot of beautiful styles, lots of creative things we can do. And very indie-irie. I am not my hair anyway, so let's not really make that a big thing when it comes to a survival task or comes to coming over a fear or using something for your health. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, let's really put apples to oranges and let's get right now.
Gotcha.
Darius, fire this question to her. And then I want you to think that as a prompt. The top 5 hairstyles, or protective styles for the summer. So
Oh yeah. So what are those top 5 protective styles for the summer months to swim?
My top 5 are, 1, just a natural style. You can never go wrong. You got locks, hair, anything like this, barrel it up, twist it up, put it in something that's a nice out of your face. Okay, we learn how to swim with swim caps and goggles here. I love half wigs for my ladies who still need to do a little bit of a corporate situation, but are wanting to swim because you still got your stuff braided down. We have no issue here. You can still go wash your hair.
It's not gonna be no cameras there, so don't gotta worry about it.
Nothing here is so private. And then you can still go at home and put your situation on. Or I've had women who put their stuff on as soon as they leave. And I'm like, come and go as you please. I don't mind. But when you get in here, I want that to not be your worry. You know what I mean? That's some of the lure as a black woman. I love stitch braids, any type of scalp braids, any type of barrel twist. And then barrel box braids are like they're on there, but they're like my least.
Okay.
Last, because anything too heavy kind of changes your buoyancy in water.
Okay. So outside of, like, we know the type of exclusivity the swim industry has overall towards us, and we already know the limits that we have as a people, getting to the pool, getting to the water. What are you doing, or what do you think the industry should change to be more inclusive? Not just to black people, but to people that are differently abled or people that don't have access. Like, what can be done on a small and a big scale to, like, make swimming easier to access?
Loaded question. I think it'd be
The
great.
simplest answer.
I think it'd be great, obviously, if we had just more accessibility to indoor facilities that were all abilities. You know, I don't even think we even have to say disability or whatever anymore. It's just like we've got so many different type of people, so many all types of things accessible to people. I think we just need to have more indoor facilities that are appropriate for people, and then I think we need to funnel that more into our black businesses. I don't think it's even a thing on black philanthropists' idea to even help black schools or swim schools or independent black businesses. A lot of black students come to backyard businesses because we weren't allowed to go to big facilities. So backyard swim schools are kind of what are the backbone of a lot of our cultural learn to swim environments. And so for that, it'd be great if just black grants and black philanthropists even opened up more of the fitness space to include swim and things like that.
I mean, that is probably the best answer, only because since we in Atlanta, we in the Black Mecca. It's a black millionaire out here somewhere that'll help you.
No, hence why I said it. We got great credentialing. We got great things. We can show you all of what we're about. We'd love to have an indoor facility.
Okay, so changing gears a little bit, one of the things that you speak on directly, and that's really the undertone of all of this, is community, people, inclusion, right? When it comes to another thing that you do, the trap fit workouts, why do you think that works? Like, is it the music? Is it just bringing like people together? Is it all of the above? Like, what is it that makes it work? Because I see it doing numbers.
I genuinely think it's one of them things that's just like when that spark of things just meet, it just really is. It's such a great combination of multiple passions for me. And I think as the type of person I am, when I'm passionate, it oozes out of me. And I genuinely think that energy is infectious. It's fun. It's fit. It's mobile. Of course, it's community. But I think it speaks even to, and I'm sure we'll get to it, but just even how I got into this transition of it just being so faith-based and such a leap of faith. Trap Fit is really probably one of the first babies that was of the faith leap that was like, oh, this is when you're in that sauce. When God kind of puts you in where you're supposed to be, those ideas, they'll flow, things that you're just dreaming of. And it was just really one of those dreams. I was like, I think this would be a cool spin on something that I don't see. You know what I mean? People think water aerobics, you think old lady, at the YMCA bumping around a Shaka Khan or something. I'm like, why we gotta be like that?
Yeah. Okay, so let's not even wait. Like, let's go into it. Like, what helped? Like, how did that help your transition into just quitting and making that transition from the hospital to the pool?
So, similar to you, 2019, I just started at Grady. Grady was #1 trauma center. Is the only place I ever really wanted to work. Being from Atlanta was
which is crazy. You wanted to work in the trap. That's crazy.
I wanted that. I was just like, if you're going to do it, and I think that speaks to who I am, though. Yeah. It's like, if you're going to do it, do it. And I had worked all through COVID, and I'm finishing out, I'm on the burn unit. So we rotate. You go to every place in the hospital. So I worked everywhere. Burn unit is kind of like the last place you go. So I'm working burn unit. I worked there during the holiday season. So because it's my nature, I'm with kids, right? 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds that's been 60% burnt from the Christmas tree, from this and that. And so kind of as I left, they would send me to places because it's like, you're not a mom, you had a heart for this still. And that kind of put me into like a thought of like, what do I? I'm like, hold on. You know what I mean? Like, wait a minute. I'm not a wife. I'm not a mother yet. And if that's the the criteria that keeps getting me frontline, I need to maybe put that more frontline for me. And so it kind of made me shift my prayers, made me shift what I was thinking about, and just feeling like, okay, I really want to make sure out of not just fear, I'm really following my destiny because, obviously life moves fast. COVID, I feel like, made everyone realize, like, in a blink of an eye, 1 can go to 5. And next thing you know, you vested and you sitting pretty, they done got you in some stocks, and you like, why would I leave? Everything gets hard. And so I was just kind of like, let me just make sure I'm doing what I'm doing. And it was a slow transition. I feel like I wish I could have kept one pot burning while it was, but as I am, I'm like, boom, it is what it is. And Grady didn't feel like nothing that you could keep going at the same time. It takes so much out of me. And so it was hard to maintain having the nurture and nature for swim and potentially my own family and kids at one day and still do what I love. And so that was really it. I kind of just had been praying about it. And I was like, I'm going to take a leap of faith. And we're just going to, I'm being called to stop for my full-time job here.
So how long between the original thought and when you actually left?
5 months.
Damn, that's quick. Okay.
5 months.
So wait, so you didn't really, did you have savings built up already? You tried to build up savings
So I had savings because during COVID, this is my first job. I'm saving for a house. And then everything changes in Atlanta. It's like, okay, that's ridiculous. Not gonna happen.
Right.
But still, significant amount of savings. So had been saving there. Had really been maintaining my debt. Nothing crazy. But at that time, when I knew, I kind of kept it to myself, and I said, I'm gonna really make sure I'm just, being more mindful, keeping everything on lock. At the time, student loans were on pause, so that wasn't even a mindset. We had to buy, and all this stuff was going. And so I just had kind of felt like, I know it's kind of childish maybe, but I just like, what would my 16-year-old self, I think in some ways it might have been a trauma response from seeing so much during COVID at Grady. I just felt like what you can't bet on is this life and all these years you think you're going to wait. That was like what I had to just be like, and just trusting that at the end of the day, when you're really in his will, he's going to help supply and figure it out. And so I knew there were some things I still needed to learn. I would have never known it would have been this journey that it is, but I knew that when he said, it's time to go, you catch that Ferris wheel. And so I just had to catch it. And so, I did my swim business that summer, and I will not lie, I lost my aunt. It was so many just sudden things that were like, that did not feel like the plan that you would have had me. It felt like, yeah. That didn't feel like what? And so that kind of started the really true self-identity crisis that happens when you leave a job, and especially something like that.
Can you speak on that a bit?
100%. I think that was something I did not book for at all. Being an OT, working at a place like Grady during COVID, when people have nothing, and most traumatic time, you're so needed that
fuels you when you get up.
In a way, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's part of your burnout, but it also is a part of your fuel. And when that's, in a way, I snatched that. I just yacked it and had no replacement, had no, in a way, coping skills, because there was no work-life balance. We had all just been through COVID. And so there was no, if you got together with your coworkers to just like dump about all the stuff that you've seen. And so that whole friend group left me. I wouldn't say left, but it changed.
Yeah,
and
the community was changing.
I left my apartment. All my identity of what I knew at that time felt like was really being shed. To make a new, which I knew, but I felt like, whoa. And so that made me feel very low.
So what did you do to rebuild yourself and make this new person? Because ultimately you just saying like, yeah, I went from this baddie over here to a new version over here. Like, how did you build yourself up? Like, you mentioned your faith, like you mentioned God, right? But like, what other pieces did you add to the puzzle to bring it all back together?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like there's a lot of just deconstruction that happens. Like, so much of my routine got dismantled. So I can't even lie to say like, as soon as I got back down, I feel like the breaking is what helped to build. Like, all my routines, I feel like I left at my pinnacle. I couldn't figure out how to work out. My schedule, since I moved, made my commute different. Couldn't figure out, I'm in my parents' kitchen now, so making my routine and my smoothies and things are different. And so that breakdown of really that sadness was what made me feel like, this was not what this was about, right? Mm-hmm. Like I had to go back and think, when you first started working, there was a breakdown of the college girl to the working girl. And you was fighting it, right? Oh my God, I'm like, y'all do this every week, 40 hours, oh my God, like when does this stop? I remember that. And so I had to find some place that related to me again, to say you've done a struggle before, you've had discipline before, you've been uncomfortable before, you've bust out the seams before, you done did this shit before. I know this shit looks very murky right now. Like you ain't never been this murk, but you have done it before. So let's go find ways that you can make it relate to something that you felt. And so out of that sadness, it was kind of like, you know what it felt like to feel low, or you know what I mean, or that lack of confidence. Boom, we're not doing that again. What you used to do to get out of that? Okay, small something every day. Okay, we're gonna get back to writing a little bit, a little journal. Okay, back to affirming ourselves. Okay, and I look back, get in the mirror. Okay, now I'm like, okay, shit, I want to go buy a new outfit now. Okay, it's slow and steady, right? And it's like, okay, let me get back into making some content or putting myself back out there, remembering, okay, sometimes it take a little bit of some people reminding you, I can't wait to get back to, oh, okay, you watch it from me, you're remembering, so that you don't miss that moment and you get thinking so hard on yourself about all the places you feel so short. It's already in you. And so it was like, let me just re-scramble this shit because it's actually in here. And I'm gonna refuse to think, he would have took me from everything to not have what I needed to go next. It's like, that just wasn't what I was going for. So it was like, how can I pause and recalibrate what's inside, figure out what's no longer needed, what we need to upgrade, what needs to, shift. I definitely had to be a lot looser to myself. I feel like entrepreneurship, coming from a hospital and the rigidity and da-da-da-da, and a science background in general, entrepreneurship has rigidity, but you gotta have that.
It's fluid.
Breath, like you gotta flow because it's constantly, I felt like the more I was trying to get it to fit inside of this, it was just like, no, no, if things are different, you're in a seasonal business, you have to ebb and flow, and so I think the more that I digest that I am the flow versus trying to make the flow be inside, it's really just a mindset shift. So I would say, but it took that depth in therapy.
Can't forget therapy.
Therapy, okay?
Yeah.
I will not lie. Like, I definitely had to get back into
This
that.
is breaking news. The therapist goes to therapy. Like, people need to know that. But yeah, go ahead.
No way. You can't heal without it. But it was like, you had to take your time and get back into digesting. And just, my biggest thing was I was not going to allow the confusion to make me doubt myself to a point that shook my confidence. I felt that before, and that's my whole premise on teaching. I feel like teachers have taught me in a way that made me feel like I was less than. And that build up of making you feel strong and mentally confident and fiery again is really hard. And I don't really want no one, kid or adult, to go through that because that's what our purpose is built on, is whatever that spark and how you, your je ne sais quoi on how you handle your spark.
Yeah.
So it's like, help people prune it, but you ain't supposed to really take it away. And so I feel like that's my mission when I teach is like, we're always respectful, but do you, but let me make sure it's right, but always have your own zest because that's how you leave your mark on this world. You know what I mean? And I feel like we ain't never supposed to be trying to
dim your own light.
Yeah, and teach people out of lack for us,
Okay, so we coming to the home stretch. We're gonna be transitioning into the best segment in podcasting.
Okay.
Quit Happens. So Quit Happens is the segment where we talk out loud about the things that we either whisper into our friends or that only stay in the group chat. Like the whole point of this is to bring it out in the open, right?
Okay.
So we'll start with an easy one. Quit or keep the thought of I'm too old to learn how to swim.
Quit. I'm all like, quit. Don't have it. Quit.
Okay, so this next one, it goes to life in the pool, but also you apply it to your real life, apply it to your business. Quit or keep comparing your progress with another person in a different lane as you.
Quit.
I mean, you gotta ask these questions.
For sure, quit. Does it happen all the time? Absolutely, but quit.
All right, so when it comes to when you made that transition, you said that like in that 5-month period, like, and afterwards you had to restart, had to rebuild your friend groups, had to rebuild yourself. Were there any people that didn't support you, that you want to give some limelight and let them know that you made it to the other side?
Nah, because that's how you stop making it to the other side. You know what I mean? If you ain't, it's no big deal. Because what is going to continue to go. So they'll see. And at the end of the day, it's really hard not to support, you know what I mean, good vibes. So it says a lot about you if not. But, there's always people that don't get it. I was grateful. I think originally my family were the most important people. I was definitely the most nerved to tell my parents, I'm about to lead this. My mom's like, are you getting bullied at work? What's going on? I'm like, no, I've just got a dream and I'm going to do it. I think that was a foreign concept for that generation. So for it to be now 3 years out and it to be doing as well as it is, and I have a space, and it's proving that it was worth it. And so I think that matters, and just being able to film in this area is limelight enough.
Gotcha. Okay. so speaking about the filming, right? You've got 10,000 followers plus right now on Instagram.
Yes, 11.1 as of yesterday.
So, and I don't know how much you have across your other platforms, but like, as you built this business from scratch and you built this brand, what did you get in that success with the numbers? What did it validate? And then what didn't you get at that validation that you thought you were going to get?
So I think, wow, like next year, 2027, I'll make Eat Sleep Swim 10 years. I made this business while I was in grad school, like literally in Lewis and Beck. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to spend my summers not doing nothing. I want to teach kids how to swim. So to make this as something out of my Tallahassee apartment while still in school, to build into something that is a brand name in one of the blackest cities, in the United States, with over 11,000 followers, that, somebody knows off of me, not a team, not a bunch of other staff. Like, that meant that the brand is powerful, like that I'm powerful in a way, with him for sure, behind me, and that the mission is authentic, because nothing withstands time if it's not authentic. So that's what that meant to me. But I will say, you think, because ain't no bots. This is organic. I have not done anything for that. So you think, okay, dang, I want 3,000 likes on everything. I want every story posted to have all the engagement. When I post my bookings, that should be, within an instant. And at the end of the day, social media is still social media. You still have to do the legwork. You still got to make sure you're doing emails and that phone and everything like that. But I feel like I, would have thought maybe numbers would convert, but it's huge. Like they say, followers is not dollars, so you still have to make sure you do your work to get the money. That is definitely good that they see you, and it's like, that's what's up, right? But we all know what we do with a follower, like a penny in the pocket, damn near. So, shit, I'm trying to not get just left on the flow. I want to be at quarter. We couldn't get that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So when it comes to what people swore was the golden advice when you're learning how to be a professional and work a job, what's that advice that now, especially on your own business, that you look back on and is like, oh, that best advice was actually some bullshit?
Dare I say, I'm learning a little bit more of some shortcuts. Some shortcuts really are just shortcuts, and they're beneficial.
Like
you know
what?
what I mean? And there's some reasons like that you should be a little bit more advantageous. I feel like growing up, definitely as a therapist, it's just everything's so customer serving. I feel like entrepreneurship, you switch a little bit to a little bit of a shark, a little bit in some ways. Like, you're trying to be a little bit more maybe petty in your marketing, or you're trying to be a little bit more, grit, like if you're competing over a certain area or a territory zone or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there are certain things that obviously you make sure you're always having good morals, but I feel like there was a lot of just pushing the 40 hours a week, the 9 to 5, the slow and steady grunt worker. He gets the
Okay.
It's kind of like,
So-
man, come on, man. Sometimes, yes, I was that girl, but there's no reward for the people that stand over doing more. It's not, you know what I mean? And the people that's coming out doing bare minimum or just that enough, getting the exact same. You see that enough, it's like, oh.
So the shortcut is you don't really have to burn yourself out to get ahead.
Exactly. And it's like, there are things that, I feel like we may look down on, or, breaks or automations or things that they may, I think a black person is always to tell you, just do it. Mm-hmm. Not to hire things out or to resource things or maybe to bargain things or barter services. It's like, you can't make all this stuff happen on your own. And that's cap. And I think probably the biggest one is that made me leave the workforce was just that as a mom or a wife, like, you can have it all. I hate to say that. I just don't really think so.
No, that's a perfect segue to close this out. So when it comes to me and this brand, Just Quit, like it's all about choosing the life you deserve. Like every time I've quit a job, I chose the life that I felt like would benefit me. Not even, it sounds bad, but if you think about it, it's really not. I didn't choose the life that was best for my oldest daughter. I didn't choose the life that was best for my wife. I didn't choose the life that was best for my youngest. I chose the life that was best for me, and I knew if I did that, the trickle-down effect would happen, right? So I want to end it with this. The life you deserve gets better when you quit what?
Trying to please other people over yourself. Did you want a real job?
I mean, nah.
You want a real job?
No. Nah, I don't want a job.
Okay.
Because what I do now, I don't consider it work. I do it because I feel it.
And you're pleased. You're well. Your tank's at bay. And if you are emptying one, it's because you decided that. You're not pleasing outside of yourself before your tank is full. I think that's the biggest shift. When you begin to corporate, you're working to get a means to an end, whether it's for your insurance or to get all your kids to have this or to keep the life you want or whatever. Like when you're really sculpting the life and making it from scratch, it has to have your needs first. I think that was just the biggest change that I'm really having to understand. Like you can only be as good as you've made yourself feel and you're taking care of yourself and what you prioritize for yourself. You want vacation, whatever, like all the things. I realized I was like, no, you working harder than you was in corporate. Dead for real. And that's not good. You know, you trying to fit in everybody else's schedule before yours.
Right.
You gotta do what fills your tank first so that you can have the space to grow and to make the brand be what it is.
All right, so that's it. I don't have any more questions for you. Thank you for your time. Eat, sleep, swim, everybody. This is Taylor Harris. You got anything you want to shout out, Pub, before we let you go?
No, if you're ever looking for one-on-one or private experience swim lessons from an occupational therapist and a swim instructor with over 15 years experience, you should definitely check me out. I do travel to other states. I come to you in some places, but I'm also located in Atlanta, Georgia. These are all my socials. Eat, Sleep, Swim, TLH. On Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, the website, everything. It's all the same.
Yes, and when you reach out, you're not getting a bot, you're not getting an assistant, you are talking to her.
Yep,
so if it's a little delayed, that means she's in the water.
That's exactly it.
I learned that personally.
That is exactly it. The delay is the water, the sun, the regroup, all of that. But yeah.
All right, we out. Peace.